Hello everyone, welcome back to Be the Hope. It is Friday of the second week of Easter, or April 24th, and what I've been thinking a lot about today, praying a lot about today, is the beauty of God's providence. The fact that God will provide for us, but not only will He provide for us, that He has a plan and that He knows what He's doing, and that nothing ever can stop that plan if it is His will. We hear in the first reading today from the Acts of the Apostles how the apostles have once again been put in prison and are being threatened. Their lives are being threatened. And one of the wise elders of the Sanhedrin steps up, and this time, instead of directly accusing them, says something very interesting. He says, if this movement is of God, we should step back. We should do nothing more to these men. Because if this endeavor is God's, we can't stop it. We'll only be fighting against God. And if this is not God's endeavor, if this is not God's movement, then we should just let them go and they'll die out by themselves. So these men have recognized that the power of God is beyond anything that they themselves can contend with. The power of God is stronger than any human power can try to stop. And that's the same for us today. We might not necessarily be thrown in prison for believing in God. Maybe one day that will be the case. But even if that's not the case, there will always be people trying to draw us away from God's path. There will always be people who are trying to thwart God's will, but they will never succeed in the end. There might be moments where it seems that they're succeeding. There might be moments where it seems as though God is not going to win out in the end, but we know that God always will win in the end, that His will always come to be, that His plan will always end up succeeding. There will never be a time where God will be defeated. That we know that in Jesus, they tried to defeat Him, they tried to kill Him, and He rose from the dead. And that was the ultimate sign that no plan of God's, no endeavor of God's will ever be thwarted by our weakness, by our sin, or by the weakness or sin of others. All we need to do is be open and to say yes to whatever God wants to do in and through us, and God's will always prevail. We see this in the gospel also when Philip is doubting that Jesus can feed all of these people with the limited resources that they have, but God tests Philip and He says, what can we do? What do you think we should do? And Philip says, well, there's not enough food here. But Jesus, knowing what He was going to do, takes the few resources that they have and feeds the entire group of people there in a miraculous way. Sometimes we might not think we have much to give. We might not think that we have any strengths or gifts to use. But if we offer what little we have to God, again, nothing can thwart His plan, not even our weakness, not even feeling as though we have nothing to give. If we only say yes and offer what little we have to Jesus, He will use it, and He will use it for His will. He will use it for good. He will use it to bring about something beautiful in the world and in us. So I encourage you to think about what little or great thing, but especially the little things that you can offer to God today, and especially during this next week of this stay-at-home order, what we can do to continually offer what little we have to Jesus to use for His glory and for our good. I hope this brings you hope today, and I hope this beautiful weather and the trees blooming brings you hope also. God bless you and have a wonderful weekend.